इंडिया एक जगह है जहां ड्रीम्स एंड विशेस एंड डिजायर कैन बी फुलफिल्ड इंडीड। एक थॉट लेके यूरेका मोमेंट के बाद द बर्स्ट ऑफ एन आइडिया कैन propel you to the top. Coffee machines, capsules, aroma, you name it, it is now nirvana time for all you coffee lovers out there in India. It's upscale, it's upmarket, and it is Bonhomia. As we catch up with the dynamic duo who have brought Bonhomia to you. Hello.
Hi.
Lovely to have you.
Pleasure to meet
Kunal
you.
and Tuhin.
Thanks for having us.
On our Cool Startups, the Big Idea special. This is a first of a first ever coffee. Gourmet at that. How did it all unfold? हमारे साथ share कर लीजिए. The journey of Bonhomia.
For sure. It started way back in 2011 when the idea first germinated. I got involved in a very similar startup in London where I used to live and work.
अच्छा. तो आप entrepreneur थे पहले.
मैंने छोड़ा था अपना नौकरी ऐसा ही एक स्टार्टअप में co-founder, co-investor बनकर in the UK.
अच्छा.
When I happened to travel to India for a friend's wedding. And when people
the
asked,
big fat Indian wedding.
The big fat Indian wedding. And I was coming to India after a few years.
अच्छा.
And when people asked me, what do you do? And I told them what I've just started doing in London. Somebody just mentioned, why not India? And I thought, actually, why not India? And
क्योंकि उस वक्त तो कोई
कुछ नहीं
कॉफी
था. And I was surprised that an industry which is so massive abroad, there is nary a presence in India. So I said, why not? And I jumped feet first. I didn't think. If I had probably thought it too much, I would probably have been scared because I haven't lived in India for over a decade. I've barely been back. But the next thing I know, I go back, I pack up, I propose to my girlfriend so that she'll move with me.
I love it.
And took her blessing, took my mother's blessing, and moved right here. And in fact, Neva, you're standing in the very premises it all started. This is where it started. This
This
basement.
is where you started Bonhomia.
Yes, absolutely.
My God, this little tiny basement.
This little tiny place, we slept here. This was our house. This was our office. Tuhin came on board, and then Tuhin and I worked here for years, and then Neha and all the other team members came on board, and we worked out of this place for years.
इससे Bonhomia शुरुआत हुआ.
बिल्कुल यहीं से
But
शुरुआत हुआ.
आपको डर नहीं लगा? I mean, this is an incredible story. Kunal, आप लंदन से शिफ्ट कर लिया. You had a fantastic, lucrative, well-paying job. आपने कभी इंडिया में ठहरा नहीं था. आपको डर नहीं लगा?
डर तो था. I will not kid you and say that I wasn't scared. I was petrified. And I remember having this conversation with my mother, and she asked me, why are you so worried? You are young. You have gone to, have one of the world's best educations. You can always find a job back. If you don't do it now when you're young and you have nobody really to support. I mean, although I don't have a father, my mother is financially independent. My girlfriend, then girlfriend, now wife, is financially independent, no kids. And she said, if you don't do it now, when will you do it? And that's how it started. I always said the two women who should have discouraged me, my wife and mother,
were your
actually
biggest
encouraged
supporters. I'm getting chills.
me. They told me, go for it.
Biggest supporters, your mother and your sister.
My sister also,
Sorry,
actually.
I meant
let
your
me
mother.
not let me not take it away. And my then girlfriend, now wife.
Can you imagine? Jenny, Kunal, it's the fathers. In this case, it's the three most important women in your life.
Absolutely.
Can you imagine? और तुहिन आपके लिए ये Bonhomia कैसे unfold हुआ?
So I was working for a long time with PepsiCo, which I joined right after college. And after a long 7 years, I decided, let me take a sabbatical. Chill, try something on my own.
तो आपको entrepreneurial spirit आपके blood में था?
It was always there.
अच्छा.
So at that point of time, I took leave from work. I was traveling around the country. I was traveling across the world. And I wanted to do something in food and beverages. And very interestingly,
you knew.
I knew because I understood the field very well. I'd spent almost a decade out there, and that's when a common friend introduced me to Kohan. And very soon, we first became friends. We started hanging out, and I understood the concept a lot as I traveled abroad, and then it just happened. Then we just paired together, and then
the burst of
since
light.
then Bonhomia has been,
There's been no looking
propelling.
back.
Yes.
My God. Well, I'm sure it could not have been easy, and I'm sure the initial years were very tough. शुरुआत years में आपको funding कहाँ से मिला? कैसे शुरू किया?
So this is, Neva, again a very, very interesting point that you ask, and it also brings back certain painful memories, if I may elaborate on that. So the the tough times for Tuhin and me might be slightly different because of the different in chronology.
Yeah.
For me, the first year and a half was absolutely mind-numbingly painful because things were not moving. I thought I needed funding before I could get started. And I went, and I must have been rejected by over 100 people, institutions, companies, etc.
But you didn't give up.
I didn't give up.
Sorry, I mean,
because I was. I don't know. Somehow every time I felt that I can't take it anymore. I can't keep getting rejected. My willpower or my self-belief is taking a hit. Somehow I knew that we are on the right track. So we kept persevering. We kept working on developing the product.
That's what an entrepreneur is.
We kept working on finding a way around that funding issue.
Correct.
And we had a technological breakthrough. We realized we could put together a manufacturing line in a fraction of the cost that we initially imagined. And so then with whatever resources that I had saved up and a classmate of mine from business school from INSEAD, we got started. And I was very lucky that Tuhin joined me straight away. And then, everything, there was a complete complementarity in our skill set. And that suddenly meant that the project
started flowing
really rapidly. And before you knew it, since then we were in the market.
Ye naam kaise hua?
So a very interesting story actually. We wanted it to be fun. We wanted it to be not
Hip-hop.
be uptight. And the word that came to our mind was bonhomie.
That's what I said. Yeah.
And we were playing around with that word, and together we were looking at bonhomie, we were looking at bohemian, being something different than the traditional methods. And that's when this word came about, bonhomia. And that's what became our brand.
It's super cool.
It's a cross between bohemia and bonhomie.
Yeah,
and
I like
this
it.
That's why our visuals on the box have all this.
Okay, now we want to taste the coffee.
Absolutely, let's do
We
it.
want to taste, so these are the bonhomia machines.
That's right.
So obviously they're very upscale, upmarket. How much do they sell for? Like, how does it work?
So that's something that we've really cracked for the Indian market.
Okay.
We've brought the machines at an extremely affordable price point, under 10,000. So 9,995.
And beautiful.
And you can get something like this in your living room.
That's the one at 9,995. This one for 12,995.
Unbelievable.
And we have a whole new range expanding.
And tell me, have you now utilized the Flipkarts, the Snapdeal? Are you leveraging that and selling all these coffee machines?
As well, absolutely. The machines is available in gourmet food stores, which sells the capsules. In fact, in some of these stores, we are the only electronic product that they sell.
और क्या-क्या stores में आप हो?
We are there in all the top gourmet national chains: Nature's Basket, Modern Bazaar, West Side Gourmet, Food Hall, Home Stop, being a lifestyle player, and all of these online players: Amazon, Snapdeal.
तो सब जगह.
हर जगह.
अच्छा. Initially, कितने difficult था to, I guess, educate, acclimatize the Indian consumer or the Indian retail outlets to a coffee machine?
Extremely difficult. And personally, it was very difficult for me. I came from an organization where I used to walk into the meeting, and the meeting used to start pretty much because you had the power of a large MNC behind you.
Oh my God, Tuhin, this is incredible. It's so
And here
true.
you started struggling, trying to get an appointment with the same set of people, trying to explain to them this concept because the category never existed in any of the stores. So trying to create the category, and then first the retailers and then the consumers. We actually stood in stores weekends on end, right? Reaching out to each customer, giving them a cup, trying it educating them.
I have to tell you something really funny, and it just strikes me. I was standing in Defense Store, Defense called me, right here, doing sampling on a Saturday afternoon, right? Every customer coming, sir, would you like to try a coffee? Ma'am, would you like to try a coffee? And this guy who's for one of the other, some dip brand, he's the promoter there. He walks up to me and he says, I've been noticing you over the last few weekends. आपकी इंग्लिश काफ़ी ठीक है. आप उस कंपनी को क्यों नहीं छोड़ देते? कोई रुकता नहीं है. आप मेरी कंपनी में आ जाओ. मैं आपको अच्छा प्रमोटर का नौकरी दिलवा दूंगा.
Oh my God.
So I burst out laughing.
What a share. What an experience.
So
I mean, you both are true blue entrepreneurs, huh?
Well, let's not keep you waiting. Let me get you a coffee. I know you mentioned that you're a little partial to vanilla.
I like vanilla, yes.
And you
if
like a
don't mind.
cappuccino at that.
Yeah, whatever you want to give me, I'm happy
Or would
to
you like
try.
a macchiato or a cappuccino or an espresso?
I'm not a coffee lover, so I'm just gonna go with the flow and whatever you
Let's do a
decide.
macchiato.
Perfect.
Thank you.
So let me
Just give me some love.
That's very interesting. So you basically are saying you guys did A to Z of whatever it would take. आपने कभी सोचा give up करने के लिए? Actually, मैं सच्ची में पूछ रही हूँ. Was it ever in consideration?
I will be
ना
honest.
funding था, ना लोगों को समझ था कि coffee machine makers क्या है, one home या क्या है. I mean, did you
Look, after being rejected so many times, there were a couple of times it would just be human to have these moments of self-doubt. That I would think, am I just completely barking up the wrong tree? Wow. So yes, there were moments of self-doubt. But I would again reiterate that once we got started, in June of 2013, when I decided that come hell, come high water, I am going ahead after we found that technological breakthrough. There was never any question since then of ever turning back. And once we joined forces, it was not just us. We had, we had a few other people working for us.
Just kind of flowing
after that, there was
way.
never any thought of ever turning back.
After that, no negative moment.
No.
I mean, you had your tough moments.
So tough
but
moments.
Then again, you had a whole team of workers. You had to first think of them that if you shut this, they'll be without a job as well. So, that was always a motivation to, keep pushing you forward, that you have to make this succeed for everyone.
Amazing. So now in terms of your capsules, how have you developed the flavors? How have you figured out what works for the Indian palate? Because it's very difficult from the West.
Very beautiful question. And actually the initial days that we actually stood out in the market, in each of the outlets, meeting the people, we got a lot of feedback from them. कि क्या अच्छा है, क्या चाहिए हमें, and we reacted to that. We made changes to what we were offering, and नई offerings जो हम लेके आए, we actually introduced products which people wanted. And today you have stronger coffees, you have flavored variants. A vanilla, a hazelnut is something that we have just launched, and that was all consumer feedback to us.
Amazing. And which have been the popular flavors that you find with the Indian palate?
So we have a blend called Dark Deeds, which is incredibly popular with the Indian palate. It is Dark Deeds. It's a strong Arabica coffee with a hint of Robusta added in. And it is doing extremely well.
Arabic, how interesting.
But before we started, we did spend a lot of time doing consumer research. Of course, through the sampling, but also through, I won't say very formal setups, but through informal setups where we'd call bunches of friends together and can I have a
market survey, so to speak.
Market survey, so to speak. And that's how we got started. And we have a panel of experts who we used to, run it by, who used to give us the blend.
You did really delve a lot into research and development,
and we
understanding you have to. Because you constantly have to evolve.
So while we have a big lab and we have a big plant and everything, there is not a blend which I don't check. Almost every production batch till today, I always try and check.
I mean, I have to say, gentlemen, yours has probably been one of the toughest journeys ever on our Cool Startup Special. Especially because both of you had two fabulous lucrative jobs. And you gave it up for this. Incredible. What has been your USP?
I think the USP has been that we are always learning, never giving up. We have our ears to the ground. We are seeing what the trend is, we are seeing what is emerging in the market, and we are reacting to that. That is one. And the other is, we are also being a little futuristic and taking some pot shots at things where we see the market will develop. Although we have no research backing it up, and so far things have worked out to our advantage.
Fantastic. Share Khaliji. What would that be? Share that. Because that's
I'll tell you, one of the biggest innovations we've done is putting tea in capsules. We're the first people globally that we know of who do tea capsules.
I've never heard of it.
Nobody ever had until we started.
I don't believe it. So what does that mean?
So that means you can have a perfect cup of tea like you're having in your coffee right now, right from a capsule at the touch of a button from the same machine.
Now that's 2-in-1.
Yeah,
that's going to take India by storm. Indians love a good deal.
Exactly, and that's what we're doing.
And what's the flavor of that tea capsule?
So we have green tea and we have English breakfast, both being extremely popular in the market. And we're expanding into something that India loves and the world loves, Darjeeling tea as well.
That's a coup. How did that come about? How did that work?
So it was very clear.
A lot of research and product development.
So the product development happened afterwards.
Okay.
But very early on, after being turned down so many people and people saying USPs, etc., it struck me that I wanted to tea. Just because it's different. And the first time we were doing tea testing in the capsules was the first time that Tuhin came to meet me. So Tuhin was there right there when the tea testing was happening. And I remember that day we were sitting here and we were making these capsules and we were testing them
Great
out.
chemistry.
And I
between
was
your
always a tea
partners.
person and Kunal was always the coffee person. So that's how we divided. So I do the tea tasting and he does the coffee
You know,
tasting.
मुझे एक और चीज़ काफ़ी fascinating लग रही है कि आप दोनों अलग backgrounds से मिला through a friend. And this is the first time ever in our cool startup special that we've had two people from diverse backgrounds who didn't know each other. It's always been college students, IIT graduates, IIM graduates that get together.
Yeah.
But आप दोनों में it's different and काफ़ी chemistry भी है.
I think अगर वो नहीं होता ना Niva, then we probably wouldn't have started. I think the first time we met, we realized we get along. We started playing squash. We became squash buddies almost immediately. We won't get into who defeated whom, but you know, but you know, we start. So you know,
Yeah.
It will sound cheesy, but the bonhomie developed
Of course, and that's what it's
right
about.
from day one, and you know, one thing led to another, and here we are today.
Where do you look to see Bonhomio 10 years from now, 5 to 10 years from now, your dream vision?
If I go to any store today, right, you know, if you look at the coffee shelf, 85% of that shelf is dominated by one company. We all know it's the largest MNC in the world, Nestle. I would want to take at least 50% out of that for Bonhomia. Right.
I'm getting chills. That's incredibly ambitious. And you're smiling away saying that.
I would like to say that we want to do that globally.
Take Bonhomio brand.
Globally, and we want to dominate not only the beverage section. We actually, one of the other reasons we chose the name Bonhomia, which we haven't referred to here, is that it is a brand which can transcend just the beverage space. It's a lifestyle brand, and we want to take it into other segments. We plan to open our own cafes.
In fact, we have opened up
our first cafe.
In
And Tuhin will
Cyber Hub.
Yeah.
In office.
Bonhomia.
Yeah, we want to take it into cafes. We want to open up our own stores and probably other product ideas. In fact, Tuhin, you should mention what we are doing with our cafe and the franchises we have started.
So
franchisee model.
As
well. So we have our own machines, we have our own capsules.
Right.
A lot of people are using it. They love the way the brand look and feel.
It's upscale, upmarket,
it's upscale,
aspirational.
Aspirational.
And a lot of people have been approaching out that I want to set up a cafe with this look and feel. And that's when we started off with our first cafe in Cyber Hub in Gurgaon. And that's doing phenomenally well for us.
Give advice to budding entrepreneurs. Both of you
Before
really
I give,
cut it.
Niva, if I may be so, if you would indulge me, I want to give a shout out to 3 people.
Okay.
So there is a gentleman, Rohit, who we are both very fond of, right? He's like a brother to both of us. The reason why everybody loves our coffee is because he runs our production plant and he is so stringent on quality. You should see it. He runs it like a well-oiled machine. We have Avinav, who looks after the brewers. He's always ensuring the machines are great. We have Neha, who heads our marketing, and she's like, although she's really young, like I won't say mother figure, sort of elder sister figure to everybody in the company whenever they have problems. And she's created a look and feel which is so upmarket and dynamic. Because of these 3 elements, that people want Bonhomia, not only in their lives, they want to do businesses with the name Bonhomia.
It's all just kind of, connected, the
Yes.
dots, 360-degree circle.
Exactly.
And it's really that. India is aspirational. India wants to aspire. And I guess Bonhomio is right time, right place, right moment.
Exactly. So
Give
I
it
think
a-
with those 3
That's what you would
coming
say,
in,
yeah.
and the 2 of us, and the rest of the team,
More important,
we're being able
the
to
right
deliver
set
everything.
of team. We're getting talent from companies like Pepsi, from Coke, from a lot of beverage majors. Really helping the business because that experience really helps us grow faster and
What
faster.
advice can you give?
So the one,
Such an
so
exciting
this is something which somebody asked me. What would you do differently?
Yeah.
So I think the one thing that I would look at differently, and there are some of the things which is traditional wisdom which I ignored, is have a team when you start out. Have a co-founder at least, which I didn't.
Yeah.
Number 2 is always look. I think it is always tougher as a startup to do a completely new category, because category creation requires a lot of capital which we didn't have. Having said that, we managed, and we managed quite well. But that is one advice I'd say, that unless you want a really tough challenge, relook at this. And third, there is merit in bootstrapping. Always find a way how you can bootstrap, at least for the first year or 2.
Can you imagine?
So these are the 3
Beautifully
things that
stated,
I
yeah.
always mention.
And what about you?
I would say
Fantastic.
get the right team in place and don't give up. If you keep it at it long enough, eventually people are going to buy into the concept, right? So that's what I would say.
Really, I mean, too refreshing. Thank you so much.
Thank
Such
you,
a
Niva.
pleasure to have
Pleasure
had you
meeting you.
on
Thank
our
you, Niva.
Cool Startup Special. We wish you all the best, and may you give those MNCs a run for their money.
We would.
We will. Absolutely we will.